Ever feel stuck in a job that drains you but terrified to leap? My guest today, Sasha Eburne, was a single mom who walked away from 25 years in hospitality during the pandemic and within weeks built a business that gave her freedom and flexibility. In this episode, she shares exactly how she did it and how you can step into your CEO era too. Let's dive in. Hey, Mama, welcome to Career Growth for Working Moms. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fit or burning out trying to do it all, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, a career coach and fellow working mom. Here, you'll get simple career strategies and strength based leadership tips to help you grow with clarity and confidence. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time, and let's do this. Hello, welcome. I'm so excited to have Sasha Eburne with me today. Sasha is a business coach and certified NLP master coach who helps ambitious women step into their CEO era with confidence, strategy, and freedom. After 25 years in hospitality and events, Sasha hit a breaking point during the pandemic. As a single mom, she was searching for something more fulfilling, and she found it by taking the leap into entrepreneurship. Within weeks, she went from burned out and boxed in to building a business that gave her both financial and lifestyle freedom. Today, she mentors women around the world to break through self-doubt, scale their business, and create lives that feel as good as they look on paper. Sasha's story is one of resilience, bold decisions, and what's possible when you stop waiting for a permission slip and start backing yourself fully. Sasha, welcome to the show. I can't wait to dive in.
Thank you so much for having me.
So your journey took you from 25 years in hospitality to running your business as a single mom. Like, what was the
Yes.
turning point when you knew you had to make that change?
Well, like you said, there was the pandemic. That kind of happened not by choice. We were stood down. In Australia, we housed our international arrivals in our hotels. So we all got stood down, and the hotel that I was working in at the time was the first one that entered the quarantine program. So we were the first ones on the chopping block in
Oh,
Australia,
wow.
and then it was months of just in and out of just trying to get different jobs and trying to get my career back. And we all thought it was only going to be a couple of months, and
Right.
years later, it took us a while to get back. And yeah, I had a couple of other random jobs in hospitality, and it took me to go for a small stint and try my luck in real estate. That I was very undervalued, underappreciated. I was given really basic stuff and, very much just boxed into doing minute stuff. And I built this career and I tried to climb that corporate ladder, and I was just like, this is just a waste and I feel unsatisfied. And it was only by chance that, well, first off, during the pandemic, I did a bit of network marketing and did some online selling while everybody was at home, and we had like facial parties and things like that because no one was leaving. And I
Right.
went and met one of the girls who I knew that bought some of the facial products, and it was at the time where you couldn't sit inside the cafe, you had to get a takeaway and go to the park. And I said to her, "What are you doing?" Because she wasn't working in the hotel industry either, because she was the same, a casualty. And she said, "Oh, I started my own virtual assistant business, and I work 3 days, and I'm getting paid more than I did in the hotel space." And I was like, "Oh, well, that sounds pretty cool to me." So
Right.
I just decided to try.
Yeah. That's awesome. So there are many of working moms that are listening right now that kind of feel trapped um, for providing for their families and pursuing something more fulfilling. What helped you move past your fear and take that leap?
Do you know what? Like, I've always had not the fear, but always just like, oh, I couldn't do that. I not only am I a single mum, I'm a solo mum. I had my daughter on my own, so it's just been the two of us from the very beginning. And I'd always kind of looked at my friends that had these husbands, or even had an ex-husband that they got child support, or had that extra, income, that if they decided to try a business, that they would be okay financially. And I kind of never had that, but I think it was just such a drive that I was just like, I have to take my earnings into my own hands. I can't just keep being mediocre at a really level salary. Like, I had big goals. I'd recently bought a house that was, a big stretch. And I was just like, I want to take my daughter traveling. I want her to experience the world. So I just did it. I just tried it. And it was kind of in the back of my head, I was just like, well, what's the worst that could happen if I didn't try it? Or what's
Right.
the worst could happen if it didn't work? And I'm just like, I could just go and get another job. Because right now, it's either go and try this or get another job, because I hate my job. I didn't like it. So it was
Right.
that bad that I was just like, I could just try it and do it as a little bit of a side hustle, and then eventually it will take over. And I jumped on into it and it was just so amazing and so great. And then I got one client within the first 24 hours. It was 12 hours of work. And I was just like, okay, 12 hours, I could probably get by. Like I got by on maternity leave. I got by with not working for 6 months. I'm like, it'll be tight, but I could do it. And what I realized was if I only had 12 hours of work, what about all of the other hours during the day while my daughter is at daycare that I could literally just talk to everybody and anybody if I free up my 9 to 5 that I hated anyway.
Right.
So it was just a matter of trying, and it was so scary. Like my family, like, what are you doing? I remember when I resigned to my boss and she told everyone, she goes, "Oh, Sasha's going to go try your luck working from home," like just totally dismissive. And yeah, and it's just like it it just worked, but it only worked because I just left no stone unturned. And that's what I see. A lot of women just jump in thinking that they're going to be an overnight success or clients are just going to fall from the sky. But I literally every single day without fail was having lots of conversations, and I wanted it so bad that I did everything possible to make sure it worked.
Yeah, because you grew really quickly. I mean, like you said, you had your first client. So what lessons or did you take from that? Like, what was your biggest aha moments from those for early days on building so quickly, but without can you do that without burning out?
So, what I've always been like that overachiever, a bit competitive, and I think like as long as you get your sleep every night, it's not like I never really I didn't even really know what burnout was. Like burnout in the 9 to 5 because it was mentally draining. And I
Right.
think that's the difference to distinguish was I loved it so damn much. And I'm like, this is fun. How many more clients can I get?
Right.
And like, I never felt like I had to work 24/7. I just had to work like during the hours that my daughter was at daycare. But I loved it so much that I'm like, oh, well, if we're home on the weekend and, when I started, she was still napping. And I was just like, hey, if I got to jump on and, this is fun. So I think
Right.
I really turned it into something that I loved. Plus, I loved the freedom of it. I loved being able to go get a manicure, pedicure during the week or go get a massage or, all of those things. And I think when I really kind of stepped into that flexibility and not being bound by asking for permission, I'm just like, this doesn't even feel like work. So
Right.
if I was working all the time, then that's okay. And the fact that from the very beginning, I structured my week Monday to Sunday.
Mhm.
So I didn't feel like I was cramming, 38 to 40 hours during the Monday to Friday. It was, you know, probably anywhere from, I'll say 38 to 45
Mhm.
across 7 days,
Right.
which is a
That-
full-time role, which, when I was in the hotel industry, we call it love time. You had to do a reasonable amount of overtime in your contract that you didn't get paid for. At least now I was being paid for all my time.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So you talk about the CEO and helping women step into their CEO era. What does that exactly mean?
Yeah, so what I discovered in the beginning was there's only so much you can do, one, without growing. And then I also found that I got really in tune with what I love to do. And it's just
Mhm.
like, I love to do this, but I don't want to sit there on a Friday and send out invoices. I don't want to chase people for money. I don't want to have to do my socials. Like, so the leveling up to the CEO level is to really like, where in your business what do you want to do? Because once we only do what we want to do and love to do, we can find other people that love to do those other things.
Mhm.
And the only way to grow is to get support. Like we talked about, there's only so many hours in the day and we don't want
Right.
to burn out. And the thing is, you don't want it to become a 9 to 5 job where you feel like, oh, it's such a drag to sit at my desk. Oh, I don't want to do the figures. Oh, I don't want to do this, because then you will fall out of love with your business. So fall in love with the tasks, the responsibilities that you want, and then you just get to be that CEO and you get to delegate. And if everybody is doing what they love, then everybody's happy. And then you just get this sustainable growing business over time that everybody loves and supports the mission that you set out to achieve.
And I think that's so important because I think as moms, like we have a hard time delegating and feeling like
Yes.
if we have to do it all, and if we delegate, then we're somehow less than somebody else, and that's so not true.
Not true at all. I mean, they say even when you have a baby, like you need a village.
Yes.
And you absolutely do. Even now, I'm just like, hey, can I go and have some fun? Or can I go out for dinner with the girls? Can you look after my daughter? Like to have fun in every part of our lives, we do have to ask for help sometimes and be okay with it. And that's taken me, it took me a first few years to realize that just actually ask for help and you don't have to do it all. But yeah, I think as
Right.
mums especially, we really struggle with that asking for help.
Yes, and I think community or your village is such a huge part of any mom. They everybody needs that because we can't do it all. And there's we just can't. And I feel like when you can finally find your little tribe that you can lean on and say, "You know what? I'm having a really hard day today. Can you just watch my kid for just 30 minutes so that I can
Yeah,
just walk away and just take a deep breath?" Like I've
exactly,
had to do that
exactly.
before. Just like I need 30 minutes. Like
Yeah,
I'll take 15, but I need a moment.
yeah, yeah. I need a shower on my own or to go to the bathroom, like the simple stuff that people take for granted.
Exactly. Especially as a single mom, it has to be a lot harder because you don't have a partner there to with that support. And so you really had to rely on your tribe to be
Yeah,
there to support you.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, you work with women all around the world, which I think is amazing. So, what are some of the common mindset blocks that you see women that holding women back, and how do you help them shift those?
Yeah, so the biggest ones are, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. Oh, how could I possibly charge that much money and things like that. And what I've done a lot of studies. As you said, I'm an NLP master coach, and we really try to dial in. What's the root cause of that? What has created that belief system? And generally, it's generational trauma, or we've been told things as kids like money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for your money. So that's been instilled in us from a very young age. They say that the from between 0 and 7 are like the imprinting ages. So the language that you speak to 0 to 7, they believe for the rest of their lives. So as adults, we have to unlearn all of this unconscious behavior and thoughts. So generally, it's working out what stemmed from it, what has triggered that, and then actually supporting them to rewrite those beliefs to be
Hmm.
like, you're born worthy.
Right.
So it's the unworthiness is a learned behavior. So the fact that it's a learned behavior, evidence says that we get to unlearn it. So we do that by, some NLP practices and some reframing of the mind, and also showing them evidence that, well, if somebody else can do it, there is no difference. There's no difference between you and me. We're both mums, we're both females. I didn't
Right.
just wake up one day and be this expert entrepreneur. I got to learn.
Right.
I got to learn how to do it. And I also invested a lot in the experts that have already walked the path so that, you can, there are ways to get the quick way. And there
Mhm.
are long ways to get the quick way. And I've invested in the coaches to support me to get the quick way because I'm a high achiever. I have big goals. There's so many bigger and better things and more impact that we get to make. So, as long as you, and the other biggest one is self-trust. Self-trust and self-belief is they just don't believe that they can do
Mhm.
it. And again,
Right.
that is a learned behavior. So we get to support them to rewire that. So they're like, I can do it. I can make the money that I need. And I also deserve to be able to have the life that I desire as well.
Right. I love that because I think I can imagine like in with the NLP work, like trauma, significant trauma has to play a huge factor in the belief system that's coming up, especially around money or whether self-worth, like you said, and that has to be very difficult to break. I know I've had trauma and had to go in and have work on myself so that those triggers don't work. But I'm sure you see a lot more of that in your line of work.
Yeah, yeah. What I've discovered is business is 90% mindset. You get
Yes.
you get a really solid and abundant mindset, then everything else can flow afterwards.
Yes. One of my friends says it's between your two ears. Like everything is between your two ears. And I'm
Everything.
like,
Yep.
you're right. Like the majority of what you think and feel and all that is between your two ears. So,
Exactly.
um, so, what what does building a business or a career around your life look like to you? Like what how do you advise your clients in that and building a business and career around their own life?
Yeah, so I've created a concept that's called a me first business. So really solidifying what do you want your days to look like? What do you want your weeks to look like, your years? What are your 5 and 10 year goals? And once we work that out, then we can craft the business towards that. So my biggest thing was freedom and flexibility. I want to be able to travel at least 4 times a year.
Mhm.
And that's getting a little bit far and few between now that my daughter's in school. We have to try and stick to the school holidays. She did miss half of term 2 this year, but she's only in the first year of school.
Okay.
But that was really important for us. So, when I'm planning out our in-person events and our retreats, we plan out around that first. Holidays are first and number one for me, and then making sure that we are visiting family. Family is also one of my strongest values. And also, I do like to look after myself. I like to, go to the gym and go to recovery places. So they're all the personal stuff is in the calendar first, and then we build the business and the business commitments around that. So it's about what do you want and what excuse me, what lights you up first, then we plan the business around that.
I love
And
that.
if we have, maybe what does it look like in 5 years, then we need to reverse engineer to be like, okay, well, that's the 5-year goal. What sort of money do you need to be generating in your business to actually reach that version of you? And then we reverse engineer that in terms of the offers, in terms of team, and in terms of growth to ensure that in 5 years we have that picture created.
Great. I love that. I love that. Well, this has been such a great conversation. Sasha, where's the best place for our listeners to connect with you?
Yeah, they can either jump over to my website on sashaeburne.com, or I am more than happy. Just jump in and send me a voice note. Say that you heard me on the Shannon Fox Show. I would love to have a chat on Instagram, which is just Sasha Eburne __.
Oh, awesome. And before we wrap up today, I love to leave my listeners with one powerful takeaway. So, what's the bold step that a working mom can take this week to back herself up fully, whether in her career, her business, or her life?
I always like to say is if you're unsatisfied where you are, just have a look. Just have a look at other opportunities that might sound good for you or feel good for you. There is a lot of, let's say there is, and not to diss on the network marketing side of things, a lot of people will try and sell you network marketing, but when you're starting, you don't want to have a lot of investment. So find something that you already know how to do and you can monetize your own skills. So if you've worked in administration for 25 years, you could really just set your own business up, under a few couple $100, and you are the product. You're selling you and the work that you do, rather than investing in, 15, 20K into this product to go and sell. So I would just encourage them to research and see what's out there and find something that they love. Don't just jump into something because it looks like it can make a lot of money.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, Working Mama. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with a friend who's stuck in her career but doesn't want to sacrifice her family to grow? Also, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It seriously lights me up to know this show is helping you navigate burnout, find clarity, and lead with confidence. All right. Time to shut down my laptop and pretend I'm not hiding from folding that laundry. I'll meet you back here soon for another episode of Career Growth for Working Moms. You've got this.